Hello, and thank you for joining the Ezer Mindset podcast. I am your host, Altimese Nichole, and today I have a very special guest with me. Um, I was debating on whether or not I should do your full bio.
Don't. No. Please
I
don't.
was
That's
debating. I was
you don't
debating
have
on if I
to.
should do your full bio.
Mm-mm.
Um,
I
but I
just
want to
need you
give
just
proper. I want to
two
give proper
things.
introduction. What?
Just two things.
What's that?
I'm your man
What?
and I'm a dad. Those are the two most important things to know about me.
Okay. Okay. We can live with that. That was in the bio, by the way.
I feel you,
But
but I just think you should just keep it brief, short, to the point.
okay. Well, everybody, this is the love of my life, James. I call him my love. So thank you for joining me today. I
Oh
appreciate
man,
it.
I'm glad to be here finally. It's been a year and some change and you've done other podcasts and then now you get me. But
Don't
I'm just
don't do
saying.
that. Don't do that.
I've I've been wanting to do this podcast for like 6 months now. So
We were not in season, so you couldn't,
Uh,
sir.
okay, I got you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
should be like a guest every week.
You should. That would mean we should have our own podcast.
A
Because this one is
segment.
like, yeah, we should have like a sub podcast, just
Okay,
you and I.
I got you.
Even though I feel like I don't know how that would go
What you mean?
because most of the time you're cracking jokes. I'm telling you to
I would have to
stop.
plan. I would have to plan. You have to plan topics and stuff like that. It's like a real production.
Well,
Oh,
yeah,
don't get me in
but
my bag now. Don't get me in my bag. You know, if I get in my bag, I'll get in my bag. But I'm gonna keep this loose.
yes, I know, I know. So we
Wait,
often
wait, wait.
talk
Hold on.
about
Are
how.
you are
Wait,
you asking me? Are you? Am I getting questions or how does this work?
yeah, I
We
mean, I
didn't.
have questions. I have
Okay, cool.
questions,
That's what's up.
but I mean, you could just talk. But I have questions. I came
I got you.
prepared. I
Okay, I
came.
didn't know.
I was prepared to read your whole bio.
No, I don't want. We didn't need that, but I got you. Oh, I appreciate that. Let's roll. I'm with it.
Yes. Okay. So a lot of people don't know how we met. Um, I would like to hear the story from your perspective, being honest
Okay.
of how we met and what was your initial perception of me.
Well, we met on the app. For those who may or may not know, uh, they ain't paying
Hinge.
us. I was about. They ain't paying. Hold on now. You can't just be dropping stuff like that. But nah, yeah. We met on Hinge. Come on now. If they not paying us, uh
Look, they'll be
we met
back.
on
They'll come around. They'll come
we met on
around.
Hinge. Um, I at the time I was scrolling. I had you know I was doing my thing on the apps. I think I was on a couple of apps at the time, and I had quite a few conversations going on. And I think that I came across your profile, and they had like the little prompts, and I think I responded to a prompt. And the prompt that I responded to was about your winery that you want to have in South Africa. I thought that was different. I thought that was unique. And I thought that was a good way for me to intro a conversation. I think there might have been one more. No, that might have been somebody else. But there was like other prompts that you could speak to on people's page.
You just got me
I was
mixed
about
up
to,
with
yeah,
somebody else?
no, not get you mixed up, but I'm just saying, I thought there was a calamari. I thought we might have talked about appetizers. No,
No, that
okay.
wasn't
Might have
me.
been. Okay. That wasn't you. My bad. My bad. But,
No, that wasn't me.
the winery in Africa was unique. And that sparked our conversation. And we pretty much went back and forth with texting for about a month.
Yep.
Because I think we
Yep.
started like the middle of June. And then by July's your birthday month. So you was, getting ready to go out of town and you were actually in Dominican Republic when conversation was really, really picking up. And then when you got back, I think we had a phone conversation.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then and we
And I
finally met each other. What,
remember,
August on my birth.
yeah,
We
yeah,
met
it
each other
was
for the
your
first time on
birthday.
my birthday. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it was your
we talked,
birthday.
we chatted, we talked in text for like 2 months.
Yeah,
You know. Then I met you on my
yeah.
birthday,
And
August
when
14th.
when I was out of the country for my birthday, you got me a gift, and I thought that was so
I
sweet.
did, I did. But tell them about the gift though, not because it'd be kind of weird when people do that.
No,
It
no,
was
it was
it was
sweet.
an
It was
e
very
gift that
sweet.
you can. I purchased an e gift because I didn't know her from a can of beans. She didn't know me, but I purchased the e gift so that it was one of those gifts where I paid for it in advance and she picked out whatever she wanted because I didn't know what to get. I wasn't gonna send nothing to her house and I couldn't send her nothing to Dominican Republic, so I sent something in her email. So
Yeah, I thought it was swe'd. I thought it was very
what'd
sweet.
you
And
what'd you pick out? Didn't you pick out some candles or something?
yeah, I picked out
Yeah,
candles. But like, I remember on the trip, because I went with my friend Tisha, and when I got the notification, I said, "Oh, this is sweet." And Tisha was like, "Ooh," she was like, "Is this Coach?" Because she calls you Coach. She's
yeah.
like, "Is this Coach?" And I was like, "Yes, Coach." And she was like, "I like him." And I was like, "We gonna see." I was like, "We gonna see." She was like, "No, no, no, I like him." She was like, "It's something about him." And I will say, like, throughout our dating process, my friends have been advocating for you like the entire time. Like, even at the very beginning, they were like, "I like him." It was like, "It's something about him, I like him."
But when
Even
we
in
met,
those
what
moments.
what weren't you in a situationship?
No, I had just cut it off. I had just cut it
Like
off.
you had completely cut it off?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't intermingle. If you have my attention, you have my attention. If you don't, you don't. So yeah, I had cut it off. And um I went to a retreat with my client, and it was awesome and amazing, but I left knowing that I was about to meet my person. But yeah, by that time he was, yeah, you cut.
Is this one of those retreats where y'all were releasing things? Because y'all forever releasing
Yes.
doves, birds. Okay, I
It
figured something.
wasn't those. It
Y'all
wasn't those.
release something
We
every
were
year.
we were releasing things into the
y'all
ocean.
y'all forever letting go of stuff.
We
That's
do
fine.
because it's so important to let go of things, and we release things.
That's a lot.
And like when we was
That's,
walking away, I was like, "Y'all, I think I'm going to be my person soon." And they was like, "Okay, girl, yeah, yeah, yeah." And I met you like 2 weeks later. I met you
I
like
didn't
2 weeks
have.
later.
I didn't. I wasn't. Yeah,
I
that's a nice.
listen. I
Your
wasn't
story is
either.
nicer than mine. Your story is nicer than mine.
Listen, I mean,
I
okay,
was.
so I knew that I wasn't I knew that I wasn't going to be single for long, but I didn't know the semantics of it. So I was chilling. I was fine.
I didn't. I didn't know any of that. Yeah, you got me beat on that one. I was just. I was collecting information. I was fact finding and seed gathering. All across this
So
app.
why what changed? Like, cuz with me you were very one of the things that I love
Um.
about you is your intentionality. Like you were very intentional with me.
Yeah, I think at the time that I met you, honestly, I was at a place in my life where I had told myself and I told God that I got to take this serious. So upon like meeting you, like in the process of being on the app, I was in my intentions were to take something serious with somebody, to finally like stop playing. I think since the divorce was 2020, it was 2018, 2019, 2019. For that 3-4 year period, I was just, you know, running around.
Yeah.
So I think at a certain point at that time of meeting you, I told myself and I told God, like, okay, I'm gonna do this your way. Because I was doing it his way. I was doing it not his way. I was doing it um the player way. And I said, yo, I wonder and I always in the back of my mind wonder what it would be like to take the process serious. Um and
Right.
for when it came to you, I think just our conversation, just the things we were talking about was things that my boy Noble and I had talked about was just things that, I knew, even all during the dating process of just knowing what to do. It's just a matter of executing it. And I think you came along at the right time. Timing also plays a lot of in the dating world, timing, just when you meet people and when they come in your life. And I just think at that particular time, the person I was dealing with at the moment, she was dope, but you were doper.
Mm,
It just that's kind of what happened.
yeah. Well, I mean, from my perspective, you were very intentional. Like there wasn't a moment where you weren't. And I think that was necessary for me. Like
Mm.
I needed that intentionality. If you weren't going to be intentional with me, because I was fine. I wasn't looking for anything. I was content. I was happy. Um and I was happy either way. Like if I met somebody, I'd be happy. If I didn't, I was happy. So the intentionality is what piqued my interest. Like that is what got me to be like, and
Well,
pause.
well, that wasn't very hard because you. I mean, when you tell your story,
Yeah.
I would be the biggest jerk of all time if I did the opposite of what happened. You know what I'm saying? To you
Yeah.
relationally from the previous situations you were in. Um, that played a part in the intentionality aspect because it was like, yo, I do not desire to play with this woman's emotions, heart. You know what I'm saying? Life. Um, and not saying you're not the most serious person in the world, but you do have a level of professionalism, seriousness when it comes to certain things. And I think that you were very adamant about your standard, which caused me to be there. You know what I'm saying? To meet that standard, to not want to acquiesce to anything below that standard. Um,
Mm.
and I think that was, like I said, our conversations, prior to me saying, hey, this is where I want to, plant my life, um, were the catalysts. They
Yeah.
were the foundational pieces. 'Cause like I said, we talked for 2 months before we actually seen each other. So, and it was constant conversation. I still got those text messages. So like it was, talk. We had blocks of like just paragraphs of stuff, and part of it is because you be typing on your computer and I be typing on my text. But like, we I mean, we went through a whole discourse of a lot of stuff that that was important to both of us, in
Yeah.
conversation without
Yeah.
without feeding each other information or it was like, oh, she said this and it was not prompted, or what I'm saying, I tried to set you up to give you the right answers. It was like, oh, this is what she really believes, right? This is how she really conducts herself. That's that's I can be around that. That's something I want to be around. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I remember you had a conversation with Jocelyn about that.
I did.
You
I
did. I
did.
remember that. I think as I started to meet your family, I realized like, oh, like this could be it. Only because like to me, right? No one's meeting my mom unless there's a reason to meet my mother.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
I'm not doing that. Like, you know what I'm saying? She doesn't hear about people until it's important for her to hear about them.
I got you.
So when you asked me to meet your mom, and I was like, okay. I mean, honestly, you were just intentional the entire time with me.
And that's not even like that ain't even the person that
I
like me.
know.
My mom is like not even the
I
that no
know.
offense to my mom. Shout out to my mom. I love my mom, but like that's not even the barometer because everybody's met my mom. Like
Yeah,
my mom's just one of those cool people. It's
she
when
is.
you
She's
meet my
very
friends.
sweet.
Like it's when you meet it's when you meet, the Kirklands, or if you meet,
Yeah.
you met Pastor Roy. Like when you meet
Yeah.
those type people, it's way more. You know what I'm saying, for me. Not no offense to my family, but they just
Yeah.
been kind of removed from my social life in that aspect that it doesn't factor in. But I did want you to meet my mom because mom's is a good barometer because she's seen everybody.
Yeah.
My mom has met everybody. She's seen everybody. So, you know, she appreciates you, and you know, she
I love
likes you.
her.
Yeah, my mom is one of the most interesting people in the world to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But she got the biggest heart.
She does. She does. So something is occurring soon with us.
Wait, is that the questions? I thought I was gonna get interviewed.
What?
Was that just
Listen, this
the
is a
first question
whole
about how we
no. That
met?
was the first. Yeah, that was the first question. Listen, look, it's
All
a
right.
bit of flow and a bit of questioning. Why? You want to
Okay.
ask something?
Nah, I'm just okay. I'm here. I'm here. Go
No.
ahead.
See, listen. This is
Well, I thought I was
I.
getting interviewed.
You
I
have
had
you have a
I got
you
all
have
this.
a flow in your head,
I got
and
notes.
okay. So what's your notes?
I thought I was gonna
And
get
what are your
asked like,
notes too?
what are my aspirations? What are my? I wrote down like, what are my dreams and things like that.
Why?
I
Why?
thought this.
No. Why? Why would
I
I
thought I
ask
was
you
getting
that?
interviewed. I didn't know it was just about
This is
our love
us.
and stuff. I didn't
Yes.
know this was us. I thought it was about me. My bad.
You want one
Sorry.
for you?
Go
Look,
ahead.
I'm really comfortable with you. I'm like leaning on the chair. You want one that's focused on you and your dreams and aspirations.
It's
This
too
is
late
it.
now. I've already got on now. So, but go ahead. What's the next thing you talking about? I know what you're gonna go. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So now it doesn't even fit because it's all serious, and we was
It's
over
not
here.
serious. No, I'll behave. I'm just saying I was under the impression that the world would get to know me a little bit better, but clearly this is about us. So
Us. Okay. You.
I
Well,
came in
listen.
with just a
Let me.
mindset of, man, I was ready to talk
So
about my
okay.
philosophies and my values and all kinds of stuff, but that's clearly nobody
Okay. And what is your
nobody's
philosophy?
no, it's too late. Now I can't
It's
just
not
do it.
too late. No, go ahead.
It has the
Go
flow
ahead.
from a question. We
No,
have
go
something that's
ahead.
coming up next month that is super important. So let's go ahead. I'll go with you. This is your name's at the
Well,
bottom. I'm just a guest.
oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, y'all. This is all day. This is all day, every day. Okay. So, first of all,
Mm-hmm.
in February, that okay, leading up to February
February of 2023. To four, I mean, to February of this year,
24.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
24.
Cuz I didn't know you last year in
You did.
February. No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. No, no, you didn't know me in February 23.
No.
You didn't know me in
No.
February 23.
No.
You knew me
Mm-mm.
in February 24. You're right.
Yep, yeah, yep.
So
So,
wait. Hold on. That something ain't right.
no, I'm sorry. Cuz it's
Dang, it's only been a year. August is
yes.
July, August, September, October. Like a year and 4 months. Okay, man. It feels like so much longer, but okay.
It does.
It feels like I've
Am
known
I
you longer. I
off?
guess
Am
because
I
we spent a lot
tripping?
of time. No, we met in June. We was on the app in June of 23. Everything just happened kind of. So it's two things. It feels like I've known you for a long time and everything's happened kind of fast. Yes.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
that mixture of both. You're right.
Yes. But it does feel like I've known you a lot longer. Um but yeah, like yeah. Last year this time last year I did know you.
You
But in
did.
February of last
You
year I
did. Yeah,
didn't.
you did. Yeah.
So we're dating, everything is great. Um but like you weren't feeling well.
Yeah.
And
And
I
I
kept
and
being
that
like,
started. But that started in October. That started like
October
a
of
year
last
ago.
year.
It started, yeah. I started to feel like the weakness and the lethargic um,
Mm.
feeling in October. Started it happened. It happened like right after homecoming. So around October, November is when
Mm.
I started to get fatigued extremely fast, very easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
That
filtered.
was
It got worse
scary.
during Christmas
Yeah. That was scary. Like,
because all I was doing was sleeping. I couldn't hardly walk. Yeah,
yeah, that
yeah.
was scary. And in February, I got a call from you that you had passed out during practice.
I did during practice. Was it February 15th? 6 a.m. practice. I didn't pass all the way out, but I basically got to the point where it was like I need to go to the doctor. Like this
Yeah.
is, and I just laid on the floor in the gym. I didn't pass out, but it was to the point where I could barely stand, I could barely walk. And that actually happened to me prior to that
Mm.
because I had when I was it was that Saturday, it was like maybe 2 Saturdays before when I was in the
Mm.
auto zone.
Yeah.
And every time I got out the truck to go get something, I couldn't hardly stand. I almost passed out in the auto zone.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so
Because we were
essentially what
about to
was
go get you.
happening, yeah, yeah. But I ended up making it home.
Yeah.
And I was just, but those are those times where I was just on the couch and the kids was like seeing me just, you know, be lethargic and just not have the energy to do anything worth
Yeah.
anything that was required me to stand. Um, didn't have an idea what was going on. And then in February, went to the emergency room and I had to get a blood transfusion, four of them to be exact. And that's when I found out that my kidneys had progressed to stage 4 kidney failure. So
Mm.
that was in February of 2020 this year.
In that moment, like, I mean, I know what our conversations were and like what was on, like what you were thinking about. Um,
When it comes to what?
just the the experience of your kidneys failing, um, the thoughts you had, um, just the perspective that you were getting in that moment. And the moment I'm talking about is when you were still in the hospital. Like you were still there. And I think I had an event or something that I had to go to, so I had to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I had to drive home or something, or drive Izzy to school and then to Atlanta, something. I had to go somewhere. So I left. But I remember we were having a conversation just about like life. Cause that was like a very scary moment for me. I can only
Mm-hmm.
imagine what it was for you. And I was trying to make sure that I wasn't, like, both of us in that moment, you needed me.
Mm-hmm.
So although I had all these feelings, I needed to show up for you. Like, I was not going to allow the things that I was feeling, like the whatever I was afraid of or whatever, I wasn't going to allow that to take the to interfere with me being there and showing up for you.
Yeah, we had that
Um
conversation. I remember. I wasn't necessarily scared. I think for me, I was more. It was two. It was two sides to the coin for me. The first coin was I was upset that I let myself get to that place, right? To that point that
yeah.
I stopped going to the doctor, stop, all for this, and me, I'm a worker, you know what I'm saying? Like for me, everything that I do is just about putting in the work. And that was the detriment of my health. And then after, probably the ambulance ride from Denmark to Colombia, when I did
Mm.
when I did that ambulance ride, after an hour just in the back seat of an ambulance, you kind of, you know, after I had the transfusion and, blaming myself or whatever, it was just like, yo, you caused this. This is a direct result of you not paying attention to your body and to your health. So now you got to deal with it. And then at that particular point, when I got to the emergency room in Colombia, at that point, I was just like, all right, now we got to meet this head on. Because I'd already done all the feeling sorry for myself and, the passing out and, feeling bad because my guys had, my team had to see me on the floor like that, right? Like the man in me was like, dag, you know, um, but I was just trying to tell you and tell my mom, like, yo, I'm going to try to fight this as best as I possibly can. And I don't need sympathy. I don't need you to tell me to beat me up because I do that to myself, worse than anybody. But like you said, I just, if you're going to be here, just be here. Like we're going to, deal with this head on. And
Yeah.
basically for me, it's just taking accountability for what happened. Like I caused this on myself for not maintaining my health as I had initially started, and it fell off. And this is the result of decisions that I made. And so by the time by the time I got my blood back in me and I was good, and it was like, you gotta do dialysis. Then it's like, oh man. So now you're looking up what's dialysis, what is this process? And then,
Yeah.
it was like, yeah, you gotta do dialysis 3 times a week. So now my mindset is like, how can I do dialysis and be a coach and do all this other stuff? What does it do with my job? How does it affect my, I got a kid, I have an 8-year-old son. What does this do for, spending time with him? What my schedule, like I'm going into that mindset at that particular time whereas, you and my mom, you know, you were trying not to be the worry wart, and I understand how you are, and my mom, is, and just trying to get you guys to understand that I don't know if I'm going to be okay in this time, but I'm going to be okay from a mental standpoint, and that I don't need you to worry about my psyche. Just making sure that I do the things that I'm supposed to do to still be here and be healthy, and that's where my mindset was like, what do I need to do to make sure that I'm still here as long as God wants me to be here for my son? Because if
Yeah.
I'm making this, the decisions I was making was causing me to, I was literally killing myself. My blood was just extremely toxic because my kidneys were not functioning to filter my blood as a normal person who has healthy kidney function. So, and I was just getting worse and worse by not going to the doctor and getting it treated. I was getting worse and worse for not getting a biopsy. It was getting worse and worse for not
Mm.
taking my blood pressure medicine. So, yeah, by the time you came back to the hospital, we were arguing about other things besides my mental health.
Uh, listen, I feel like that probably was like
Baby,
one of our biggest arguments for real,
we
for
had a
real.
time in that hospital room, man. That was.
Listen, you walked out, and
I
your mom
did.
was like, Jay, and I was like, no, let him go. I said,
Sometimes you
cause
gotta walk away.
I was
Go
like,
for a
let him
walk.
go. I said,
I
Ma,
was in the
he's,
hospital.
yeah, I was like, Ma, he in the hospital gown. Where he going? He gonna walk
I was
around and he gonna come right back.
I was butt out in the road. That's what I was.
You
Man. I was
were,
just wanting to get
you
out the
were,
room.
you
I
were,
just
and
wanted to get out the room. That's all.
and I, oh, I still remember that because for the life of me, okay, so for me, even if we don't see eye to eye, babe, like hear me out and be considerate of looking at it from my perspective. And I felt like in that moment, you like it was just like, no, this is what it is. And I'm like, but look at it from my perspective. That thing was that was probably one of
That was our most heated
that
exchange
was
that we've
that
had.
was
But I think that
and it had an
it was.
audience because your
But I
mom
think
was
it was healthy
there.
because my mom was in that. My mom was in that hospital room, stuck with us in that corner.
And look,
And
and
we were
Auntie
just
Tina
going
was
at it.
on the phone. You
Yes,
Auntie Tina was on the phone, so
yes, and
I
they
could
was
hear her
taking your
every
side
now and
too.
then.
They were
They was
taking
like,
your side too.
mm-hmm,
They were taking your
mm-hmm,
side too.
because
That's the
it
funny
just
thing.
makes sense.
It didn't. It
It
didn't. It made
did,
sense to
it
y'all.
did. No, it
We're not gonna
did.
rehash that,
We,
but it did. It
we
didn't.
not,
It didn't
but
in my
it
book.
did. But if it makes sense to other people,
No,
like you should
because
consider.
the bias of the other people did not
No,
rank
it's
in
not.
my.
But it
It
has
did is
nothing to do with
bias.
bias because I am a
I
neutral
stand,
party.
but I stand by
So,
my take of if I have all the information and I know everything that is on both sides, then I am the one who's the key, and that's I stand
and
by
you
that.
are right, and
All right,
you are right, and you are right. But there are some things that I can see that you can't see. Or you
you are
may
absolutely
it's
right.
not even that you don't see it. It's just that you are busy looking at the
I agree.
overarching things because you got the
I,
bigger plan
I
and
agree with
I'm
that.
noticing the nuanced details.
I understand Miss
So,
Nuance. All right,
mhm.
let's all right. So,
Yes. So like,
uh, what happened in February? That happened.
yeah. And then
So
I said I would help in any way I can and you was like, "No.
I spent a
No."
week in the hospital. At that particular time, the doctors was talking to me about a kidney transplant, and so at the time that I went in, that I was coming out of the hospital, my coworker, the baseball coach, called me and was like, "Hey, I tried to give a kidney to my cousin. It didn't work out. This is my opportunity. Hey, I want to be a living donor." So I'm like, "Oh, that's amazing, man. Thank you. I appreciate it." I didn't want Altimese to be she tried to step up as she does, with her amazing heart. I didn't want her to because she has a daughter that she needs to be here for. And I didn't, my thinking was, anything complicated with a surgery like that. And, I would, if something happened to her, I would not feel the very best if something were to happen to somebody on behalf of me. And that's just kind of the person that I am. So, that was another point of no, chill. I don't want to do, but ultimately she's going to do whatever she wants to do when she wants to do it. I've figured this out. Like telling her no is not the best thing in the world to do because she doesn't listen to no. Like if you talk about, if you in the dictionary don't take no for an answer, this is her right here. She is don't take no for an answer. Uh, am I okay with? Do you have some more questions or lead in?
No, no, go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead. Finish your train of thought.
So we go to the doctor. Go to my first appointment at the MUSC transplant center, and we go through, and they kind of give you all this information. They overload you with the information. Doctors do what doctors do, and they just start talking. You know what I'm saying? Da, 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 da. Now, luckily, I'm the type of person where I've done my research. I've done some reading, and so I kind of got a understanding of everything that the doctors are saying. So kind of got an idea what the living donor situation is like, what it is like to be on a transplant list or whatever. And so they say, yeah, just tell you, oh, you gotta every time you say living donor, everybody light up. Like that's the like the best thing in the world of kidneys. You know what I'm saying? Because essentially, if you are on the transplant list, you're essentially waiting for somebody, unfortunately, to die to be able to get their organs, right? And that's so unfortunate, right? And they have systems set up to where people who need kidneys can do like videos, just like GoFundMe's for kidneys and stuff like that. And there are people who are just great people who be like, hey, I want to give my kidney. I have a functioning kidney, and I want to see if I'm a match. And that's what you want to hope for. Like that's best case scenario. And so I had a living donor who was my coworker who was willing to, do whatever to give me his kidney. And then little Missy right here is sitting next to me in the doctor's office. And, they're saying the process of, what the living donor should do. And I've been adamant about her not doing it. And she's like, just sitting there. And in her mind, she like, oh, I'm gonna apply. I'm gonna do this application later or whatever the case may be. So we leave, a couple weeks go by and stuff like that. And she's like, she does whatever she has to do. And at this time, she does what she has to do on the back end with the transplant center. And it just forgets my wishes. So at this point in time, you just got to be like, okay. You put your hands up. It is what it is. Okay, Altimese, you got it. That's basically what you say. You got it. I'm out this. And Yeah, that's what happened. She was she was a match through blood type.
I still am.
So after you go through the process of the initial testing and all the other things, they actually put the blood in the test tube and see if the blood matches. And she did. My
Oh my
uh
gosh, I did.
my antibodies would have rejected her antibodies, so it wasn't a direct match. So at that
Because
particular
that's
point in
what
time,
kidneys do.
okay, anyway, these are doctors. I believe them.
I
So,
know. Okay, and I'm sorry to cut you off, babe.
oh no, you go ahead.
But first of all, I am still your match. In this process, I feel like the exchange program, it was beneficial to the doctors on for a number of reasons. For one, also, I'm very cognizant of the fact that African Americans um, deal with kidney failure at a higher rate than most, and oftentimes their process on the list is not like yours. So I'm aware of that. Then they said I was your match the whole time.
They
They
did
do all my
not
test. They did the whole time. I did all my tests. I went to MUSC, did the 2 day intensive. Still didn't say anything. They, oh yeah, we the match. Da,
because
da,
they
da.
didn't put our
Right?
bloods in the test tube
Yes,
together. They
Then
didn't. It was based on blood type
then
at first.
then they call and they was like, oh, you are a match for James, but you have this uh strand that African Americans have. They misdiagnosed me pretty much. And if it wasn't for me advocating for the fact that this whole time none of that came up in the test results and all of a sudden this just popped up, the doctor wouldn't have gone back to the notes to realize he misread the notes
I don't
to
believe that.
then. Yeah, that's literally what happened. That is literally what
No,
happened.
what they
Then
happened?
they called to say, oh well, his antibodies are aggressively attacking yours.
Yes,
That's what they're supposed to do. That's what they're supposed to do.
that's
And I
not.
was like, that is that
It's
as your
supposed to
body,
be an acquiescent. It's supposed to
it's a
combine.
foreign object going in your body. So that's what the pills are for that you would have to take. So whether it's the good Samaritan who's donating the kidney, or if it was me, it would still be the same scenario.
No,
You'd still need those.
my nurse
Yes.
told me when they put her blood, his blood, and my blood. I don't know if it's him or her. When they put it in there, it connected, and it was like, oh man, this is beautiful. That's what they said.
No, because that doesn't make sense. Anytime you put something in a body that's a foreign object, your body innately wants to attack it. That's why you
My
have to take the
This
medication.
person's kidney, my body said, "Oh, this is a beautiful kidney. I'm gonna take this." That's what they
No,
said.
no, no. I personally feel like, and this is my theory, I personally feel like it was too easy for a black man to go through the process. It was really quick. It was very smooth. Oh man, we got a great living donor on the list, and we could potentially save not one person but two. So let's save two. I don't have a problem with that, but I do believe that. I do believe
But
that.
you are a natural cynic, though. You
No,
naturally
I'm
inclined.
not.
Yeah, you kind of are.
No, no, I'm
You
not.
naturally, you didn't. You was kind of nasty with the little nurse lady when she was talking. Like
No, I
she was
wasn't.
just
I
telling you
was.
what happened.
No, I
You
am.
was kind of nasty with the lady.
No, because they misdiagnosed me.
They didn't
And told
misdiagnose you with nothing.
they told me I had some type of genetic
You probably
strand from
do.
my mom and my dad. No, it doesn't exist. The doctor called me back and apologized because they misread the notes on the
The
chart.
doctor did, not the nurse. You was nasty to the nurse.
I listen. No, I was
She
just
just
making
relaying the
sure
information.
they
That's the
crossed their
nurse.
T's, dot their I's, because they weren't doing that. They were real
Okay.
like, and that's not going to fly with me. That's never going to fly with me. That's never going to fly with me,
That
especially
was
with
not
our
the
health.
voice that they did.
So, So, yes, they did. That's what they did.
That's
That's what they
not.
did. So just so you know, anytime involving our health for any of our kids, do it. I'm gonna be the one checking because doctors can be wrong. They can be
Wait.
wrong. They
So
can
you
be
trying to
wrong.
say I don't check? You trying to say because I put myself in a situation that I'm not the best advocate for myself? Is that what you're trying to say?
Nope. I'm just saying you have somebody who's
I'm the
going to be
one going
behind
through
you.
everything.
I know, but now you have somebody who's going to be like, when the doctor say something about some medication, I'll be like, what does that do? Does he need it? Does he really need it though? Oh, he don't need it? Okay, well, you got him on this. So what is going to happen with both of these? That's who I am. I'm going to ask all kinds of questions that may feel awkward to them or whatever. And I'm not questioning them as physicians. I'm just making sure that it's the best for you. So that was my positioning for when I was talking to the nurse or the advocate. Like, this is about making sure that the love of my life is okay. Like, so make sure if you're given these results, they're accurate. Cause y'all did, which they did, babe. They gave me a diagnosis that was not accurate. They came back and told me it wasn't right. I was like, "Oh, you're fine. You don't have it." After they gave me this whole spiel about how they said in 10 years, they told me in 10 years I would have kidney failure. So another reason I knew that, like, okay, if I was a match for you, I would do it. I don't know any, there aren't many people, if any, in my family that have kidney failure. There are other things, but that's not one of them. So that's why I was completely clueless in terms of the process, because I've never been around someone who has had kidney failure. So I didn't know what to expect, what was going to happen. Was I didn't know any of that kind of stuff. And that's on both sides. That's on my mom's side and my dad's side. They both of them, like, after speaking with them, both of them were like, "No, we don't. That's we don't have that." So I felt pretty confident. Like, and I know you were concerned, like, if Izzy, like, if something was to happen to me or whatever. But I honestly was like, okay, I can do this. And I wanted to do it. And I still do. I'm excited to do it. Um, I just knew that's not something that I would be concerned with
All
in
right, you got
terms of my health.
finish telling the story. So after that, probably about a month later, she received the call that, well, after my panels and all my testing, they was like, yeah, we're gonna put you in the transplant list. You gotta you get listed. And when you get listed, you don't know how long, you're gonna be with a kidney, waiting on a kidney. And then probably a month later,
Like
a month
three
later,
weeks to a month.
October,
Hmm.
we found out that an anonymous donor, somebody I do not know, has said they're going to give me their kidney, and in exchange, Altimese is going to give a kidney to somebody who is in need of a kidney. So me and this other person will be getting a kidney from two people that we do not know. And I thought that was all God. Like, couldn't have been nobody but him. Um, and the crazy thing is, um, the doctor was like, we can only do it on December 18th because this is the specific day that this person could give. So I'm curious to find out who it is that was like, I found out in October and I got to wait, 60 days to get this kidney. So today actually marks 30 days until till we both go, under the knife, which is, why I wanted to do this podcast with her 30 days out, to do a little mini chronicling of, this process. And I'm not going front. I'm scared as I don't know what, as we march toward these 30 days, because it's just a lot of unknowns. And, the more I read, I'm on these kidney uh, Facebook groups, and you have people like, I've been hearing a lot of positive people like, man, I've been 5 years with this kidney, but then the other day I was reading and somebody was like, I got anxiety and I can't sleep, and it's all the stuff that goes along with the effects of the kidney, and you just try to think about the positive. Um, I know for a fact that people have been praying for me. I definitely can feel the spiritual energy, of people when they talk to me. I know especially from my family, immediately from Altimese. Um, but to sit here in front, like I'm not afraid of of what's about to happen when I go under, you know. And the biggest thing is just being a dad, and just you don't know, but you never know the time or day or the hour in which
Yeah.
the Lord's gonna call you, Um, but I just feel like I have so much more to give. But again, that's the Father's will. I'm just happy to be put in a position to, you know, be one of the few people, because I look at all the stats, and it's like this amount of people have living donors, and you got this amount of people who are still waiting. And I'm grateful, eternally grateful, that I'm one of the people who have, a living donor, and I'm not waiting for someone to pass away. Um, I see dialysis different, when you're marching towards getting a kidney. I just did dialysis this morning, and I told the lady, I only got a few more of these left. It's like, oh, 2 more this week. You got 3 next week. And you got 3 more after that. Only like, you sit on about 12, 13 more, dialysis treatments. Um, and, these people that, hook you up to this machine at 4 o'clock in the morning, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you have become like a part of my life. The people that sit next to me, opposite side of me have, people that come into the clinic have been like a part of my life for these past, 10 months. And so, you know, it's going to be, interesting. It's going to be interesting going into 2025.
Yeah.
It's going to be
But
a
you
very
know what?
interesting 2025.
I think I've shared this with you before, but like through the process of the season, I am completely in awe of you because you weren't one to complain. You literally showed up and did dialysis Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 4 o'clock in the morning until 8, and then went into work or did whatever you had to do. And in those moments, you could have felt pain. I've been on the phone with you numerous times,
Oh yeah, them cramps is no joke when they hit you, man.
but
Yeah,
like you, once it was done, it was done, and you kept it moving. And I admire that. And I often think like if my baby can go through this, like I don't know, it takes away the excuses. Like it takes away the um the things that people hold on to I don't know, want pity or whatever it is. I don't have it. I don't have it because I
yeah.
see you
Well, I
living and being an example.
well, I get that from my mom. I get that
Yeah.
my mom's kind of no nonsense when it comes to work. You know what I'm saying? Like if and for me, if somebody, one of my core values is commitment. And if I say I'm supposed to be somewhere or do something, I'm gonna do it. Now, I take a 2 hour nap before I go into work to be able to function. Or I lay down for a little bit. But you know what I'm saying? Like I tell my team, like, if you lose, you lose. If you win, you win. But like the work still has to get done. And whether
Yeah.
it's by me or somebody else, I just always believe that the work still has to get done regardless. And
Yeah.
I do realize my mortality. I know that if I'm not here, it's going, Voorhees University is going to move on to men's basketball. is gonna move on. But I've always been the mindset of what type of mentality am I gonna leave behind?
Yeah.
You know, what's that? I'm very big on what are people gonna tell my son when I'm no longer here? What are they gonna say about his dad? You know what I'm saying? Um,
Yeah.
when people are remembering me, how do they remember me? And I would not want to be remembered as somebody who didn't work or didn't put in the effort, time, effort, and energy into what he, into the people that he loved and the things that he did. So
Yeah.
it's kind of my motivation. But and then no nonsense, no excuses. You know, just a
Yeah.
little cramp. No, them cramps be hurt. Them cramps be hurt. They don't be little cramps. That blood when they pull when they pull a certain number, that thing it be catching me. While I be in that chair. I be trying. As a man with cramps, you be trying to. Oh, the nurse be like, "You okay?" I be like, "Oh." Them teeth me. Yeah.
See, it's funny you see it as like a no nonsense when it comes to work, but I see it as perseverance. Like you push through, like, and that's not some. For real, for real. That's not something that is common. Like I have witnessed people, they go through stuff and you it's like the whole world shuts down and they pause and they got
Yeah.
to take a season to figure things out and
Yeah.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, like, and
Yeah.
that is not that's not
Well,
what you did.
that, and I never. I mean, even what you want to do the intro, like having a bio, like I never. I'm so far removed from anything that makes me be the focal point of things that I don't need to be the focal point of. Like I am, and it's not. I don't even. People are like, "You're humble." Like it's not even that I'm humble. It's just that like I do not put myself above anything. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I never want that because I still want to be connected to the people, and I still want people to know that because I think sometimes, man, you can get so full of yourself and that hubris, right? It's almost like Icarus going to the sun,
Mm.
and I never want to get to the point where I think I'm bigger than my britches. And I think that that just comes from my humble beginnings, and it just comes from that chip on your shoulder of always feeling like you the underdog. I do always feel like I'm the underdog, right? And I never want to lose that though. I don't care how many accolades. It's always going to be difficult for me to get praise from people,
Yeah.
from the standpoint of being out front because there's so many people that have contributed to my quote unquote success or kind of where I've gotten to. So,
Yeah.
I owe too many thanks for me to act like I'm the ish. Period.
Yeah. But you are. And at home I will continually give you all the love, affirmation, encouragement, whatever, even in those moments where you be like, I don't need that. I don't need that. I'm still doing it. I'm
I know, but
still
the crazy thing is, you're more in our home. You're more of a star than I am, right? So it's like it's cool. Like that's perfect for me. Like you got way more awards and accolades than I ever could count and
that's
get.
right now though. That's right now
But
though.
but I don't. But
Because listen,
I don't want that.
cuz
I
but
like being.
it's not, I didn't want this either. So I didn't want this.
But
It
you
wasn't
you
like
get it and you accept it so well.
but I
You
didn't want
shine.
it. It wasn't like I was like, "Ooh, I'm going to do
You
this."
be holding your
No.
awards. They all around the house. Like there's shrines in our house
No.
of your accolades and attributes. That's what I'm saying. Like
But that's not something that I was like, "Ooh, that I want."
no,
I
no,
feel
I know
like
that,
yeah, I feel
but they come.
like
You're not gonna
I
stop
feel like
achieving.
right, and neither
You're
will
not gonna
you.
stop. No, I
Neither
am gonna
will
stop
you.
achieving at some point in time. At some
No,
point in
you're
time,
not.
I'm gonna
I don't
just.
believe it.
I'm
I
gonna
don't
just
believe
bare
it.
minimum this thing out. I know honestly,
No,
and you're gonna keep ascending, and that's fine. I have no problem with being in
I don't
your
believe that.
shadow of accolades and awards because of how you just operate.
I don't believe. I don't believe. And the reason I don't believe it is because I am learning you, and
What does that
although
mean? What does that
you
mean?
are, um, your approach to work is pretty chill. You're very committed to it,
I am.
and not only are you committed to it, you're disciplined in it. And if you
Right.
pair those two things together, the accolades are inevitable and they're going to come. It's
I
not
disagree.
yeah,
I
it's not
disagree.
it's not a rocket science. If you are consistent in doing what you're doing and you continue and you are disciplined at it, it's like cultivating a craft to mastery. And when you do that, people notice. And when people notice, cuz look,
I
as
don't
you're
think
talking,
people
hold
notice. I
on.
don't think people notice though. I
As
think
you're
that's the
talking about
difference.
it, didn't you win an award last year for coach of the year?
Yeah, but I don't. Okay,
No.
who's gonna
Oh,
watch
oh,
this? If
oh,
this is Voorhees
oh,
University, anybody from Voorhees University, that was a sympathy award for me falling down in
no, it
practice. That wasn't because I was
no,
coach of the
it
year. I felt like no, honestly, I felt like Coach Hughes, who had a track member win be a national champion, was coach of the year. I don't think I was coach of the year last year. We won
look,
only 11 games. We didn't have a winning season. So if you're
that is
asking
not,
me that, but no, that in my business that is though. In your business it may
but
not be, but in my business the metric is wins and losses.
baby, baby,
No,
that's one metric. That is one metric.
that is the metric. That's
The
the
other
metric for my
metric,
business.
the other
Moral.
metric involves how you cultivate your players, how you are an
Nobody
example
cares
to
about what if
them.
that doesn't what nobody cares about that.
Okay.
Nobody
Okay.
cares about how I'm
And
treating my players. Nobody cares.
anywho, you
That
won the award. You
that
won
only
the
works,
award. And it
baby.
wasn't a
You
sympathy award. You
you
won
think
it.
when I if I go
You won it.
apply for another job, they're gonna be like, hey, how do you treat your players? No, they're gonna go to your win and loss record. That's what I'm saying. My business is a little different than your
No,
business.
but they're also going to, if you were not intentional with your players, I'm sure that would impact
Now
your,
that
yeah.
intentionality is just who I am as a person, with caring about
I
people. I care about
agree.
people. But when it
I
comes to the
agree.
overall arching of my business and the profession that I'm in, they don't give they can you win games
And
and can you sell this program? Can you make us money?
and less at the moment, coaching is just the avenue of your calling. That's just the way you get into the hearts of people. That's at this moment. That's just the way you get into the hearts of people. I think that what is behind that, that is what eventually, like, it can change. It
That
could
sounds
be
good.
where,
That sounds good.
okay.
That sounds real good for what you do. That sounds good for what you do. But for what I
No,
do, that
I'm
does not, that don't fly. That don't get you no,
okay.
that doesn't get you the big contract. That
Y'all
doesn't get
just
you the nice
mark
cushy
my
job.
words. Mark my words. Remember this conversation. So when you start to see his name in headlines, when you start to see,
No,
when,
I got to
yep.
win. I got to
And then
win games.
listen, it's
Winning.
either going to be in coaching, speaking,
Nope.
ministry,
I'm about to be a
something.
dad. I'm about to be a straight
When
up
you
dad. That's what I'm about to be. A dad. That's the headlines you about
no.
to see. I'm about to be a dad. This profession is
You're
boring to
already a
me.
dad. You're already a
No, I'm saying
dad.
I'm about to be
So
full time. About to be driving to school, pack lunches, field
no.
trips. I'm about to turn into it. I told you, man. Kroger calling me. I could
Stop
be home by 5 o'clock.
it.
I could be home by
No.
5, chilling. I could be home by 5 with a nice little decent salary with produce. I could
No.
be at the house with
No.
produce every day. You know you
No.
want some pomegranate. I'll get you all the pomegranate you want too.
No. 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 I'm
I
telling you,
would
babe,
work the produce.
there's something innately within you
Yeah. And the
that
Kroger down there got a
God
bar too. I could work the bar at the Kroger down there.
God
That ain't
has
nothing.
placed in you that people need. They gravitate to it, and it
I,
edifies their spirit. So,
I only
however
move how
it's
God
how
tells me to
okay.
move.
And
The only move I
and
God told me to do.
same,
That's what I said. He's the
same,
only one.
same. And I didn't ask for this. I ain't asked for none of this.
But you
I
just got
ran from
awards.
I ran from this podcast for a whole year. Ask Yoruba. I was supposed to start this podcast a year before I did. And I was like, oh, I think God telling me to start a podcast. And I just like let it linger. I just because I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. And eventually he was like, sit down and do it. And
Well,
here
where
we
does this
are.
podcast go? Because I'm trying to get my.
What
Where does
what
this
you
go?
what you trying to do?
Get my face out there. Where does this podcast?
Okay,
Where is it
okay,
gonna go to?
okay. Let's talk about it. Let's
I'm
go
right
back to
here.
what I just said. Let's go back to what I just said. Okay, let's go back to what I just said because I know I saw it in you. That was one of our arguments, by the way, when we were
What was the
dating.
argument? Because I told you I didn't want to
When
be a public speaker. I don't
no,
want to be in. I don't want to be in the limelight.
there a lot
But
of
it's like
people
if I have to be, I have to be. That's what I'm saying. I don't
and
want to be. It's
and
not my
there's and
desire to do
there
that.
it's not about your desire to do that. You literally you have a calling on your life. There's
Right.
something that God has placed in you
I don't have to
that
answer the
helps
phone.
other people's.
I don't have to
It
answer the
help it
phone.
help.
If a calling, you somebody call, you don't. You can
You
hit. I
know
can hit
what?
the X and slide it over.
You going to answer when God call.
I can do the message. I'll call back. With the
No,
little
you
the little message says, I'll call you back.
you won't. No, you won't. No, 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 no. You won't. You'll do.
I just
You like. There's a calling on your life, and I'm excited to be a witness to it, to cheer you on along the journey, and to encourage you when you try to like ignore it because it's there and
if
I
you
see
say
it.
so.
And I have always seen it. I have always seen it. And yeah,
If you say so.
yes.
All right. What's the next question?
My gosh. Okay. So both of us, we've been married before, right?
We have been. Yes.
Okay.
Hold on.
So
Wait. Not just married before. I've been married twice. So I'm twice
see, you said it.
divorced.
You said it. I didn't.
And yes, I'm twice divorced, and you are. Well, I get people. I get the people. I get to the people.
You do. You
Our
do.
story is
You
our
do.
story is a little unique. My
Yes.
story is.
Yes.
Yours is pretty common. One out of every two marriages in America ends in divorce. So
Yeah. 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 So I feel like we're going into marriage eyes wide open. That's what I call it.
you think so?
So I think so because we know what it looks like.
We know what it's not.
Yes,
We
like
know what it's
we
not. I think we
know.
do know what it's not. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So because we've been in it, I can honestly say this go round. I understand
Right.
the gravity of
Oh yeah. Yeah. I
what
think
it
we
means
got a
to be a
real.
wife.
I think we
And
got a real picture of what marriage is supposed to be and what not because of what has transpired prior, and
yes,
not coming into this situation a little glossy. I think for
yes.
us.
So like with that in mind,
Hmm.
um, what do you plan to do differently in our marriage that maybe you
Uh.
didn't consider before?
Mm, I think the biggest thing is not run when trouble. Lean into the difficult times. Uh. That's that's the biggest hurdle. I think for a lot of people, and I think for me that was, what I'm saying, in my previous marriage when things got difficult, I didn't lean into the person who was on my team, and I might have considered her an enemy, and that was not the best perspective for our situation for us to be fruitful. Um, and I think for us, even like when we had that argument in the hospital, like it wasn't like, oh, I'm done with her. You know what I'm saying? It was just, it is what it is. Or, whenever we get on each other's nerves or whatever case, it's not, my mind is not, oh, how do I get away? Or how do I can find somebody I can get along with? Like, I legit just lean into the teachings and lean into, what I'm saying, the things that we talk about. Um, I know your character, and I told you this before. I'm in love with your character. I'm in love with who you are as a person. The good, the bad, the indifferent, the things I may dislike at times, and the things that I love. So that is the biggest thing. That is like 100% of. That's 100% of not looking at the honeymoon phase and
Yeah.
looking at it for the phase of marriage, right? Um, and we just listened to the message yesterday. It was like
Mm.
Jesus is the groom, the church is the bride, and he loves us regardless, and I want to have that same mindset. So I hope that answers your question.
It does. And
What about you?
with us, um, it's interesting because one of my core fears is abandonment, right?
Mhm.
So typically in relationship, if we have an argument, I fear the person will leave. And with you, that's not there. Like in the moments where we've had our disagreements or arguments or whatever, I've leaned in with you
Hmm.
rather than pulling away because I fear that you'll pull away first.
Yeah, I've and all honesty, I probably said some hurtful stuff to you early on, like the time I told you I ain't want to talk to you no more. Like
You
I
did.
know that I can be sort of blah, and part of it is also the fact that we don't live in the same city.
Yeah.
So there is the element of if you do make me mad or I am upset with you, like I'm just be on my couch. I just be stewing right here. But then I end up texting you or sending you a reel or something like that. Like I can honestly say we've been in communication with each other, through various mediums of, you know, um, whether it's laughter, whether it's discussion, um, whether it's Bible study app, like there is the ability to communicate, which is my number one core value, right? Um, and that I think that helps us. I think the
Yeah.
fact that, and Pastor Page, our marriage counselor, was like, dang, you guys, the things he was bringing up, like we had talked about this. Like we've had like our conversation, like we've talked about some things. We
Yeah, it
got,
get pretty deep.
yeah, we didn't get like, it wasn't what's your favorite color? Like it was like the process of us even dating or courting each other from the standpoint of us, like we got into some deep stuff, just because I think our lives were not simple. Like we weren't 20 somethings,
Yeah.
in that stage. You know what I'm saying? Like you had some questions about, my divorces and dang, this dude's been married twice, and you know what I'm saying, just those things. So
Yeah.
um our story, although it ain't wild, I just think it's super unique because of the amount of topics, the amount of topical conversations that we had uh, during our getting to know you phase, and even still
Yeah.
to this day, like the stuff that what I'm saying, we have discussions about. Like we
Yeah.
literally had discussions. Like we literally pick up the phone and call people to be like, hey, what do y'all think about? This is what we're talking about. So
Yeah. And I think too, we I don't think either of us shy away from the hard stuff.
no.
And I think that's something that I am intentionally doing differently because in my previous marriage, I thought submission meant being quiet. It meant like silencing myself when uh something in me is like that's not right,
Right.
or like that shouldn't be. And now I've learned that that's not necessarily the case, right? I could still give full submission while also telling you, like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. Like, we going this way, but I want to let you know, like,
Yeah.
this is what I see.
And I think that was tough for me at first, though.
Why?
This is gonna get me in trouble with women, but because nobody cares what y'all. Sometimes, right? I have another mindset like nobody cares about what you're saying. Like it don't factor in. But I had to get to the place of understanding that was something that you didn't have in your previous relationship, and that is something that is needed for you is to be able to express yourself. Not in the standpoint of shut up and don't say nothing, but from the standpoint of what you're about to say does not factor into whatever it is that I've already thought about or whatever the case may be. But it's getting to the place of understanding that you you desire to express yourself, right?
Yes,
I had to get over that. I had to
and
learn that. That was tough.
and I would say sometimes it's more than just expression. Like, I pray for you, about you. I talk to God about you all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, there may be some time, and not just you, just us, our family, our
Sure.
like that, everything.
Yeah.
So there could be moments where there's something that he may
Yeah.
disclose to me,
Yeah.
and in
No,
that
and I got it.
moment that feels like
But that's a
expression,
learn.
it's
But
me.
that was a learn for me. Like I had to learn that.
Yeah,
Like that when you talk about something that is different for me
yeah,
is uh because for so long it's just been me. You know what I'm saying? I gotta look out for
yeah,
me. Now you're asking yourself to step aside and allow this other person room to come in and also, you know what I'm saying, share in the fact of what you just said. Like you know what I'm saying, I care about you and I want what's best for you as well.
yeah,
The only other relationship that you have like that is with your mom. If you and your mom, as a mom, right? A mother
yeah,
cares about her kid that way. It is very difficult. And I don't think women truly think about it. I just thought about this as I'm saying this. For a man to make that room for that woman is not an easy transition. You know,
mm,
when you have the idea and thoughts of just caring for yourself and I'm a man and I'll handle everything. I had to there was some wrestling with God in that. You know what I'm saying? There was some pushback with the Holy Spirit with, hey, this person is the person who I am, the two become one. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? That two become one is a very, very crucial aspect of the male female marriage relationship.
yeah,
Because you're two and you got to make room to where you guys become one,
yeah,
and you got to become that quote unquote braided cord, right? Or to come that braided cord, you got to intertwine. But when it's just like this, it's just I'm over here, you over there. Now we
mm-hmm.
gotta bring this together, and allowing somebody in is not as easy as you women like to make it think that you guys are wonderful and awesome, which you guys are, but it's not easy if you
Well,
if you have that door if you have that door closed.
as you're saying that, I mean, that makes me think about it from a different perspective. Like, it's not about us thinking that we are awesome and wonderful. The act of submission requires a level of trust. I have to trust that you
Mm-hmm.
are leading me somewhere that is safe and secure, and all of the things. If I don't have that trust, it makes submission difficult. But then the trust comes through communication. So the more, even if you don't, like, you hear me out and you be like, okay, this is the plan, this is where we going, right? I still feel heard in that scenario. It's not you telling me this is
Sure.
where we going and I don't have anything, which then cultivates a place of trust for me to be like,
Yeah.
okay, which then helps me to be submissive to you.
We don't think like that
Because
is what I'm saying. We don't
Well,
think like that.
I
I've
understand
been
you
I've been
don't.
moving I've been moving like this way. It's been working, baby. Before I met you, it was working. Everything was good. You need to get on this train. That's the mindset. Like you need to get on this train. We don't think like, oh, she's learning how to trust me. I need to communicate. Like we don't think like that. It's like, yo, this train's been moving. It's been successful. What you adding to it don't I ain't that didn't factor into that, right? And then you gotta stop. You gotta slow the train down and be like, oh, I gotta let this person on because she may have the fuel that I need to get to this next stage and station or whatever the case may be. However, it turns out, but you got to let her on. You know what I'm saying? I don't think a lot of men let the woman that they. I was reticent to that with you.
Yeah,
I'll be honest, and probably
yeah,
didn't make it an easy transition, but um, yeah, I'm on board now. You're on board now. I think
yeah.
we're
Of
moving
course,
our
I'm
train
on
towards
board.
May 5th, 25.
Uh,
So um,
yes, 5
yeah.
25.
But
That
that's a difficult. That's not an easy.
I
It's not
mean,
easy on both ends.
yeah, I was about to say it's not easy on both sides because I have to. You're to be my covering,
Sure,
so
but if you don't see it
I
that way, but it's a perspective. If as a man, I don't look at it like that. If I don't look at it like that, then you can't expect me to look at it from your point of view because I don't look at it as covering, right? If a man doesn't, but that's the whole
agree,
role.
but that's where the communication comes in. Like that's
Sure.
why I think it's so important. We have to have these conversations because you are my covering. So
Yeah.
if I have to know that I'm being covered. I have and in my scenario, in my
Yeah.
situation, I was very aware that you're not only covering me, you're covering Izzy. She's collateral in this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like if I had to be sure because even if it was just me and the covering got messed up, I'd be like, "Oh, covering got messed up." It's not just me. If the covering gets messed up, my like Izzy will feel that. She will feel the exposure. So it's so much more than just like, okay, we want to be heard, we want to be
Sure.
no, it is I want to make sure that I can rest
I know,
in
but if you don't
with
have an
you.
understanding of what you just said, if and this is be my advice to women, if women can't point men to Ephesians 5:25 through 30, to the man portion of what Paul was speaking about, if they can't point the man back to that, we're not. I'll be honest, I I wasn't taught that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
Yeah.
two marriages and singlehood of like, dag, I didn't to finally get it. Like it took me two marriages and you to finally understand the significance to fully open my eyes to what Christ was talking about what it is to be a husband. It took that,
Yeah.
right? It took me that, right? And the goal is for it not to take Deuce, that long to be able to
Yeah.
get that information from me. But I didn't get that. And if I did get it, it wasn't something that was ex- explicitly in my face. And I think that that's something
Yeah.
that women, I think, and I'm not saying it's own woman, but a woman who has a man that she cares about and loves, I think if she directs him towards that and say, hey, this is the picture, right? Not just use that word submission, but like, this is the picture, because it starts
Yeah.
with me. Like for you to feel submitted, it starts with me. Who am I submitted to? Who am I? What are the things that I'm listening to? What are the things that I'm speaking? Because you talk about my character, I talk about your character. Like I truly believe that if I didn't have the character that I had, you couldn't be with me, right? Like you wouldn't, or you wouldn't. Not couldn't that you wouldn't. Um, so I think that plays a factor into it. But like all those things play into it, right?
Yeah.
But if I don't have that foundation, if I didn't get smacked over the head by the Holy Spirit with Ephesians 5:25, then we wouldn't be on this podcast because
Yeah.
I still would be under the old, I would be under the old thinking of where I was in my previous two marriages of it being about me,
Yeah.
right? And had I got to the place of like, oh snap, this is the greatest expression for a man to be like Christ.
Mm.
This is it, right? Like for me as a man, the greatest form of being like Christ is being a husband. And I had it two times and didn't was nothing like Christ. And it
Mm.
didn't do right, right? So now it's like, okay, if I take on the mindset, if I take the steps to be like, okay, in this situation, what would Christ do? Like, really, what would Jesus do, right? Like, what would Jesus do in that situation? Not to be cliche, but like, just think about it. The blueprint is in the scripture.
Yeah.
And I just had to go back to it. Like, it just smacked me in the face. Like, that was the awakening that I had after after she left me in, 20 2018 2019.
Well, I mean, like, I think a lot of us, we weren't taught. I wasn't taught either. I think
Right.
that I was very um intentional. I've always been intentional, always been purposeful. So like I was very intentional about studying marriage and
Yeah, I think
just
I
being
think
intentional.
if we go back with our stories, I think you had more of a foundational piece to
But that was
be where
me.
you are now.
That
Huh?
wasn't something that was me. That was me and God. Like that was me and
Well,
God
that's what I'm saying. I
and
had it too, but I
study.
didn't execute. I didn't. I had men that I just didn't. It's just like you got the answers to the test in the book, but you don't read the book. Like I just didn't execute anything that I was taught. Like none of that stuff. I had all the tools in the belt, but didn't use it. You got the screw. Where's the screwdriver? I'm
Yeah.
not gonna use a screwdriver. I'm gonna use a butter knife. It's like you got a
Meanwhile,
screwdriver, guy.
meanwhile, I used all mine. I was like, Lord, I was
Yeah,
like, what? What is
yeah,
this? And it just, but I think in my situation, it broke down the idol of marriage.
yeah.
It
Have you
broke
told the
that
fans your
down.
story? Does the fans know your story? Like your people in your podcast?
Um, yes, I think it
Oh,
was like
okay.
a while ago.
Did you share all of it?
A
Like you
couple of
shared it
seasons.
all?
Now, no, no, no. Only
Oh,
because not all that you know, not all that you know,
why you why you didn't have that
there's
moment?
another because there's another person involved, and I think that it's important to. I hear people say like, "Oh, if you don't want me to say what you did, then you shouldn't have
You
done
shouldn't have
it,"
did it.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the reality is that for one, that's not of love.
Okay.
That's not operating in love.
Right.
And then there's always two sides. So as I'm telling the story, number one, I want to make sure that person is aware and they're
Yeah.
like, okay, cool. But they also have the opportunity to share their side as well. So
That's
if
why you
there was
gotta get them on the
ever
pod. You gotta get them on the pod. That'll
he
be
would
dope, man. That'll be
never,
some
okay?
joints.
Never. He would
We can get
never.
both of
He
them
would
on.
never. What?
Oh.
No. 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 She would probably say yes quicker than he
I've always,
would.
I've wanted to interview her. I've actually wanted to interview my ex-wife.
If I do not think he would. If she
Yeah.
would ever be willing, I would be down, but like I don't think
No, I'm saying I would interview her because
he
I
would.
think she would be honest and we can have that conversation. I think it's
But
that
you guys
long
have already
past.
had that
Yeah, I think it's
honest
been long
conversation.
past to where we can have that honest conversation and laugh and
Yes.
have some jokes about
Yes. You
situations.
guys
So
have already and like so you guys have already had that honest dialogue, but I think that in order to get to that place of honest dialogue, there has to be an honest conversation with yourself to be like, this is where, like, yeah, there were some things that, they may not have done right, but here's where I could have done better.
I did that. I
If the
took the
person,
blame. I take
I know that.
full
I know
I take
that.
full
I know that for
accountability of
you. I
both my
think on
situations.
I
Yeah.
think in my situation, I think that there has to be a very strong level of accountability on both sides. Like
Yeah.
for it to even get to the place where you can be like, "Hey, this is I'm sorry." Like a genuine apology, which
Yeah.
I don't need.
Got you.
Um but yeah, no. But I think for in my situation, like I used all the tools because that's all I had. That
Mm-hmm.
was that was
Trying to keep things together.
me and God and the tools.
Yeah.
That's literally all I had. And like, I don't know, it was just because nobody taught me either. Nobody taught me submission. My mother is not, no, no, you think you tell me no. And it's actually me being like, ooh, I think there's a way around this. Like, I'll
That's
honor
not taking no for an answer. That's
no.
not
Like
backing down.
I'll be like, oh, be like, there's a no here, but if I squirm this
No.
way and do
No.
this, like that's
No. Don't do
meanwhile
anything. Divert. Go the opposite way. That's
no
what people be
no
telling you. You just
meanwhile, because I'm like that, all these crazy amazing opportunities and things happen because I just like, you just told me no. But my mom is more uh strong-willed. Like I get it from her and I get it from my dad. My dad is the same
so
way. Like
you are like your parents a lot. Yeah.
yeah, I'm very much I like he's very like they're both strong-willed and dare I say stubborn. Like once they have in their mind that they're going to
That
do
they're gonna do
something,
something. Yeah, they're gonna do it.
it's a wrap. Like
Yeah.
it's tunnel vision for my dad and it's relentless for my mom and it's a wrap. So I just didn't have that. Like I didn't have the model. I think the closest model would be Uncle Harry and Auntie Kim. And I didn't get to know them as husband and wife for real until I became an adult. And I started to want to be married myself. Like I wanted marriage, and I started to see like, oh wow, like Auntie Kim and Uncle Harry been married this long, and and it wasn't until I was a wife that Auntie Kim started telling me about their journey and their story and all of that, and
Mm.
it helped me to number one. I learned that a marriage can't survive in isolation. It can't.
Isolation. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it can't. We need community. We need to be around other couples to that can
Healthy couples.
reinforce healthy.
Healthy
Yes,
couples. Yeah.
key. That key
Every
right there.
couple ain't
No,
equal.
no, no. Woohoo! Nope. Mm-mm. We want the healthy ones, okay? The healthy ones. But like that helps us in those moments to be reminded that we're not alone. Like
yeah.
and that we can lean on somebody else or somebody be like, "Oh, y'all will be all right. You'll be good." Or someone
Yeah.
pray for us like
Yeah.
that was important. But I don't know, I learned as
I
I
learned
went.
that. I that's probably another lesson that I would take from my previous
Was that
marriage.
something that you had?
No, that's something I didn't take advantage of
Mm, mhm.
because I was,
Mhm.
I was around strong. I mean, from my premarital class, all those couples are still, currently rocking the pastor and first lady, Belle. They like
Mm,
that. It wasn't for lack of it, but I also think it was the engagement. Engagement is everything when it
mm,
comes to that situation. Like, how you engage with those mentor couples, and people that look at you and say, "Hey, I want you guys to be successful and survive." Very similar to
yeah.
what you want your grooms and your bridesmaids. You want your people in your wedding party how they're supposed to be, right? You want to have those people who all agreed to be at your wedding to celebrate with you. You would want to have some people that you can lean on in those tough times, and But again, it goes back to what we said earlier. I do understand that times are not going to always be in um, uh, euphoria, and in
Yeah.
times that could seem, and I think it's your word, harmony. I always want to
Yeah.
have harmony. I don't necessarily, things may be off kilter a little bit, but you always want to have harmony. I think so far so good. And we've been through some things, from a physical standpoint. You've had some opportunities to run, and you hadn't, and me vice versa. Um, and I look forward to the next 5 months of locking in with you. We're gonna go through something physically, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna go through something emotionally. Um, and the marriage is the spiritual, aspect of it. But yeah, I can say that we've kind of navigated some waters,
We did.
early
We
on, and I.
did. And quickly, God was like, let me just go on. Let's go to get this taken care of. Let's get this out the
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
But
we've
like,
navigated some
yeah,
waters. We
yeah,
I can, and I this is probably because I've heard people be like, you need to go through the seasons, and I was like, well, I can tell you some stuff about us that either one of us could have been like, nah, that's a lot, that's a bit much,
yeah,
you know. Um, but like you said, what I'm saying, I do look forward to. I think because of what you just said about your tenacity and your unwillingness to take the word no, that gives me great um what's the word? That gives me great motivation to kind of just navigate life's challenges and stuff with you. Like I know, I know what. Even though you say you're not competitive, you kind of are. In a way that's not. What I'm saying, derogatory. You're
yeah,
competitive with that whole mindset of if you tell no, like you got a fighter spirit in you, and I think that for me recognizing that is like, dang, this she ain't no punk. Like she
no.
gon' what I'm saying? She gon' if it's an
Listen,
obstacle, she gonna try to get through it. Like, but that's how you are in your
yeah,
business. That's how you
yeah.
are in your business world. But I think that you know, you have that.
So
So
I am a protector. I am
yeah,
like if I love you and I rock with you, I protect you.
yeah.
So like let somebody mess with the people that I love.
Hmm.
It's a whole
No, I
it's
can
a
see it.
whole different it's a whole different even down to like the enemy. Like
Yeah,
he don't want these problems. Like so he
I
like
totally,
you don't come here cuz I fight different. You know what I'm
I
saying?
totally, yep, yep.
Like
I
I
believe it.
fight totally different and it's not even with hands. So like I you don't want those problems. You
Yeah.
just don't. You just don't. And I
No, I got
know
it. Got it.
you're right. Like I'm not I didn't play sports or anything, which and I learned like recently my mom said I did want to and it was her schedule that kept me from
Right.
doing it. But like, I didn't do any sports, but I am one of those people that I used to think it was toxic. I don't think so anymore, but
If
like
you think it is, it probably is. But okay.
stop
Go
it.
ahead. Go ahead.
But I
You said I
I
think
I
something's toxic.
love listen. I love when people underestimate me. I get a thrill out of it. It makes me giggle. And I find ways to just anytime somebody's just like, oh, that's okay, okay, girl. I'll be like, oh, okay. Like I kind of went through that today with like car insurance. Like but when they was trying to play me, oh, okay, got it. Like I do, but I don't know if that's competition. I don't know what that is. That's
No, that's a form of competitive spirit. That's a form of resilience, perseverance. Those words that you used earlier. It's those are all within the realm of being competitive. Because you probably been counted out a couple times. And something inside of you. your will, your determination. You know, as told you, like, nah, we're gonna find a way. We're gonna get through this. So, no,
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
a. It's just may not be in the form of competition, but it is
Yeah.
a competitive spirit, and there's some people like being competitive doesn't necessarily have to be for a contest. It could be in the realm of just overcoming obstacles and challenges, and you know will and
Yeah.
determination are a big thing for a lot of people that have been successful. And however you define success, um, for a lot of people, that is because they've overcome things.
Yeah.
There's been
Yeah.
obstacles in people's way, and they just found a way to get around.
Yeah. Because I don't like when I'm compared to other people. I can't
Mm-hmm.
stand it.
Mm.
I even down in business, I don't do a lot of competitive analysis because I don't care what they doing. You know what I'm
But
saying?
that's
Like
a
that's not
part.
my
But
lane.
isn't that a part of
It is a
business though?
part. It is. And
If
yes,
you
you
do a
want to.
SWOT analysis of something, don't you
Yes, and we do
threats?
those. Yeah, we do those. But I'm very clear with my team and my clients that what you find, that doesn't mean you do the same thing. Like you have a unique value proposition
Sure.
that is not theirs. So you don't know the strategy and secret sauce to why they're doing what they're doing,
Right.
but you need to know yours and you need to be impeccable at it. So
That
like
makes sense.
I don't, and anytime I've been compared in any and I or I identify it, I remove myself completely. Like I just be like, nah, you got it. Like go there. Even with
Yeah.
clients, if somebody's like, oh well, so and so does such and such, do you do this? No, go there. Like I'll go to them. Don't it because if you already looking, that's where you want to go. Go over there. So I don't know. That's something I don't like. So that's probably why maybe track and field would probably be the only sport that I was like, ooh, I could totally do that. Because it just felt like I was more in my lane, right? Yeah, you competing with other people, but I have my own lane. You stay
Oh,
in
I
your
see what you
lane,
did there.
I stay in mine. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you over
And you
there,
like
I'm over here.
and you like running. You like running from stuff.
I
Hmm. Oh, just not.
Stop.
I'm
I
not curious.
do, but like not. Look, I didn't know where you was going with that. I don't know where you was going with that. But
She's a
this was
runner. She's
great,
a track
man.
star.
Stop.
It was.
This was wonderful.
All right.
So, my love, if
Yes.
there was one key takeaway that you wanted to leave, whether it be advice or anything, what would you want to share with people?
Um, in the words of the great poet J. Cole, love yours. Whatever that love is, whatever yours is, love it. Um, what is the saying? Comparison is the thief of whatever. What does it say? Comparison.
Joy.
Yeah, comparison is a thief of joy. Um, love yours. Whatever it is that you have, appreciate it, love it, because you never know what somebody else is having to deal with to get to where they got to, and you may not have it inside of you to do what they had to do to get there, right? So just be appreciative of where you are and where God has you. I think that's the biggest thing. Like He knows every number of hair on your head, you know, and as He said in Isaiah, I knew you when I formed you in the womb. So
Yeah.
where you are is where you're supposed to be. And if you feel like it's not, ask Him to change it or ask Him to help you change it. So that would be what I would leave people with.
Mm. I I would say that God always keeps his promises.
Hmm.
He always keeps his promises. And I think that sometimes we assume we know how those promises will be presented. Um, but God is God. Like
Hmm.
he knows. his thoughts are not our thoughts, his ways are not our ways,
Right.
and but he is so faithful. He's so faithful, and he keeps his promises.
He does.
And I think that if we hold on to that, even when adversity happens, even when things don't go as planned, even if you are going through a divorce, even if you're in your 30s, whatever, looking around like life isn't supposed to be this way, like he fulfills his promises. And I'm grateful for that. I'm so grateful.
Lean into him, lean into him.
Yeah. Well, babe, thank you for hanging out with me. This
Yeah,
was
of
great.
course. Anytime. And I didn't even touch my barbecue. You know, I am gonna say,
You didn't eat yet?
nah.
Oh,
I got home
babe.
and got on straight with you.
Oh, I know. Look, and I know you love your barbecue. Okay.
Yeah.
So, thank you, everybody who joined in. I hope this was inspirational to you. I hope it just, was edifying to your spirit. And thank you. Thank you for joining
Hey,
us. And
wait,
what?
wait. Where is this going? Can I put this on my Facebook? What I do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. We're
Okay.
on all streaming platforms. So it's going to be on Spotify. It's
Are
going to
you
be
gonna
on
send me the link?
we haven't. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Y'all, thank you so much for joining me on yet another episode of the Ezer Mindset podcast. And I will see you in the next episode.
I'm gonna be here
Bye.
too. I'll see y'all later.